Okay, action, we're going. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, what's up? I am here with a very special guest. Any of you who have followed my channel for any amount of time know this is my good friend OhCurt. And we are doing this is a very special episode of the Anakin 1814 channel. It's called Lost Talk. We're going to talk about Season 5 of Lost and maybe talk a little bit about our thoughts on Season 6. I have a full notebook of notes here that we are going to follow.
Is there a Dharma logo on this notebook?
Not yet, not yet. There should be. There's a whole stack of them out that's been tossed at the chute. Okay, quick introduction here. For those of you who don't know you, Kurt, how did you get involved with Lost?
Well, once upon a time, you wouldn't shut up about it. So I figured, what the hell? I went to either Hulu or Fancast or one of those websites where you can watch the show for free. And about 2 or 3 weeks later, I was caught up to what had aired at that point in season 5, and I think only for the last maybe 5 or 6 episodes in season 5 did I have to suffer along with everybody else in terms of waiting that full week or even 2 weeks to find out what happened next. I don't know what the experience was like for you people who were watching this in season 3 and tearing your hair out watching Nikki and Paolo. All I can tell you is that I've loved every minute of every episode I've seen so far.
I did the same thing you did, except I got caught up on season 3. So I had watched it earlier in the season 1 and just stopped kind of watching it because of the schedule or whatever. So I got caught up on season 3 and only had about 2 or 3 episodes of that one while everybody else was watching it. So we kind of had the same experience here, watching a lot.
Yeah.
But now we both can talk about it. We've both watched it many times. We both just finished the season 5 rewatch. I finished it, I think, late last week, and have both watched a few of the other key episodes.
Well, now they have every single episode. It wasn't the case up until recently. Now they have every episode up through the end of season 5 available on Fancast and Hulu and all these sites.
Yeah, it's definitely worth going back and checking out some episodes, or at least season 5. It's a quick watch. You could definitely get caught up before February 2nd, which is Groundhog's Day, which the new episode starts. But, okay, we have to stay on track. We have a lot to talk about here. So, we did our introductions. Number 2, we want to talk about the general themes of Season 5. The first one being time travel, changing the past and the future. Now, Kurt, did you ever think that in Season 3, when Jack screamed my favorite saying from Lost, "We have to go back, Kate, we have to go back," that it meant we have to go back to 1976,
1977. Yeah. No, I didn't. I would not have pictured that. And especially everything that they had done with Sawyer up until the end of season 4. You never would have pictured him kind of taking on that leadership role that he took on in season 5. Especially, much less in the 70s.
Yeah, they really took a character that was becoming greatly one-dimensional.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. and Juliet, too, that a lot of people didn't like, and made these 2 great characters who somehow worked together. Where I wish they did that with somebody like Kate a little bit, who's, turning into a non-fan favorite here. She needs to...
Is she really turning into that unpopular with most fans?
Yeah, because Jack and Juliet, Juliet and Sawyer are happy, and then Kate shows up. She's just third wheel. Come on.
Well, I think maybe Rose said it best when all of them showed up on the beach. Oh, hell no. I think that was probably a lot of people's sentiment. Who knows?
What did Rose say? She goes, "What is it with you people?
It's always something with you people." Jack's got a bomb. So what?
Yeah.
Or I don't forget. It's just I remember laughing hysterically.
But the brilliance of this season, I thought, and it could be, this thought of time travel. It could be quite hokey. But the fact that we went back to the Dharma Initiative, back to things that we saw parts of in Season 2. Remember watching one of the first episodes of Season 2, you see the Dharma tape with Pierre Chang on it. You know, the initiate, the orientation tape. I remember
Marvin Kendall.
Marvin Kendall. I remember Desmond is wearing a Dharma jumpsuit. You know, pushing the button. Right. So at first there were just flashbacks in season 3, which was cool about it. But then to go back and the main characters are living these main events, I never thought we'd ever see the incident again. You know,
right? From crashing on the island and thinking, where the hell are we? What is this black smoke thing in the woods? To actually joining the Dharma team and wearing the jumpsuits. No, I never would have pictured that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and it really what's the word? Accentuates this whole idea about changing the past. Why were they there? We still don't know why they have to go back, and why like Jin didn't. Or I'm sorry, why Sun didn't go back and Jin stayed there.
I guess, not to get too off track, but that is pretty random and maybe convenient to create conflict in the story that Jin stuck in 1977, Sun trying to get back to the island being told, well, in order to find him again, you got to go back. But the others get zapped out of the plane and she doesn't.
Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be an explanation. I wholeheartedly believe that we will get explanations for almost everything on the show. They've been pretty good with that. And I was beginning to lose faith until this season started. I kept hearing that there was going to be a Danielle Rousseau story. And then they shot her in the middle of last season. And then we saw her with the French people, you know, on the boat, with the smoke monster, with the sickness. Brilliant how they did it. And to throw in these concepts, who doesn't talk about, you know, the concept of time travel? If you could go back in time and kill Adolf Hitler, would you? Well, who's lost Adolf Hitler? Benjamin Linus.
Oh my gosh!
So you know.
Well, if you think about the purge that took place of the entire Dharma initiative, then I guess you could. Yeah. Although he says he wasn't in charge of that decision, if that was his or not, we don't know. I mean, I wonder, and it makes you wonder, okay, so if they're stuck back in 1977 now, and assuming that they didn't blow themselves up out of that time period and are now stuck there, then what's going to happen? Are we going to see them progress through time and be part of this, get killed off with the purge? I mean... Because
when did that purge? That happened in the early 80s, right? Or is that
Well, you know what? This is how much of a geek I have become. I was searching online. You know about Lostpedia. I was looking at that website, and there seems to be a discrepancy on exactly when the purge would have happened. Most of the indication puts it at 1992, but there's an issue with if the Dharma Initiative was still there around that time, then they would have still been controlling the radio tower, which means that if Danielle Rousseau showing up in 1988 and climbing to the radio tower, she would have run into some Dharma people. It'll be interesting to see if they address in continuity questions like that, or if it's just something we've got to, kind of roll our eyes out and forget about.
It's so much. It's so far fetched, and they've spent so much time recreating this world, though. This summer, I watched a few episodes of season 1, and the first time we see Rousseau, Saeed double-crossed her and was going to shoot her with a gun, and then he had taken the bullets out or did something where she couldn't shoot him, and then in Rousseau's flashback, she did the same thing to Robert or whatever. So, they're aware of this. And the other thing I noticed, I rewatched season 4, the episode called Cabin Fever, where Locke has to build a cabin, and he finds essentially a ghost of Horace Godspeed.
Right.
Now, why
was he building that cabin?
Yeah, but why would they put that character in particular and then bring him back the following season? It just seems to me like they put these little pieces there for every reason. I mean, think about it. You had in Kate's flashback this season where you find out why she wanted to go back to the island and gave up Aaron. She talked to, I forget the woman's name, but the one that is the mother of Sawyer's daughter.
Right, the woman... Yeah. Right, the woman that Sawyer screwed over and got pregnant. And, right, exactly.
They, set the pieces up for this character back in season 1 with his backstory. Yeah. So whether or not it's just them connecting the dots randomly or them setting it up, who knows? That's the brilliance of the show, I think. And I know you try to get the continuity a little bit more than I have been, but I'm stuck in this loop of them.
Well, you know what? It's a bad habit that I developed when I was watching the daytime soap operas. Because with those shows, you actually follow the continuity errors to make fun of them.
Right.
This is Lost is a different animal in that regard.
Right. I think it's going to be interesting how it all comes together, because it's already coming together quite greatly. You rewatch some of the first few episodes, and there's this wall that's cemented off. I'm thinking the H-bomb is behind there. This is from season 1 already, so if they think if they plan Jughead already. But, okay, I want to jump, while we're talking about this, way back to one of the questions you and I wanted to discuss quickly. Adam and Eve.
Oh, okay.
One of the things they had put in place. How many episodes is that? It was maybe 5-6 episodes into the season.
Well, it was whenever in season 1 where they had found that sort of sheltered. It wasn't really. Well, yeah, they were caves.
They moved into.
They had the waterfall, and it was deep into the woods.
Yeah,
in the forest.
Off the shores, because the shores. I think they were getting attacked by the others. Maybe that's when that all started.
That plus there was concern about the beach eroding.
Yeah,
because the plane pieces were being sucked up to the ocean.
And they found these 2 skeletons that Jack decided were male and female. And they had a bag, maybe between the 2 of them, or they each had a bag, one with a black stone, one with a white stone. Now, we've seen Claire had a dream in season 1, a nightmare, where Locke opens his eyes and one's black and one's white. And also the first or second episode where Locke meets a young Walt. They're playing backgammon, and he holds up a black sphere and a white sphere. What are your thoughts on Adam and Eve? It's kind of out of the loop here with what we're talking about, but in a way, I think this whole time travel thing might touch on some of that.
Well, exactly. Okay, so if Kate see, my theory, which is no mystery to you, is that Adam and Eve are Jack and Kate. Of course, I could be wrong. I guess we'll find out. But just the fact that they are stuck back there now, regardless of what happens with the blowing up. I don't even know if we want to get into what is allegedly happening in the early part of season 6 or not with planes landing or whatever. But okay, here they are in the 70s, right? Whatever they're doing with blowing things up, so assuming that they will have to survive that somehow, then those 2 bodies somehow, I'm theorizing, will end up being Adam and Eve. But see, there's also this other stuff with the Black Rock ship. Will we ever see what happens there? Will there be any more time skipping? Because the wheel is still down there, and the wheel can still be turned.
I think the device they have to use to fill in some of these gaps. Okay, every season, the season finale ends with them introducing a new storyline that goes into the following season. This season they introduced Jacob. We finally see Jacob, and the Man in Black.
He doesn't have a name yet, does he?
No. A lot of people call him Esau. I think it's in the Bible. It's Jacob's whatever. But it's the Man in Black. We don't know that when they were behind, this in the four-toed statue. We don't know what time frame that was from.
Right.
I think the full statue was there yet, so that had to be way in the past.
Right.
They obviously, even though they killed Ostagup, we haven't seen the whole him. Come on. You don't just push him in the fire in the season finale and that's it for the Jacob story. It can't be. It can't be. So,
well, see, now on a daytime soap opera, the long-lost evil twin would show up, and it would be the same actor. But we know they're not going to do something stupid like this.
Long-lost evil twin, wouldn't his name be, as I've been calling him, Flock or Fake Locke?
Oh, Locke. Oh, you mean referring to what Sun said outside the foot, saying, well, if that's Locke, then who's that in there?
All of a sudden they roll out and there's the coffin and there's Locke. Okay, the whole my third point of general themes of the season was reincarnation.
Okay,
so we can talk about fake Locke here for a second. Right. Big theory. I had not even a light bulb moment, but the light bulb shattered when I had this moment. Yes.
Watch out for shards.
One of the episodes. When Locke has been reincarnated, they're back on the island, and Benjamin Linus is trying to get the other island or the other people that were on the plane. He was saying, I don't even think this guy was on the plane, and and I don't know if Locke says it to him, he goes, or how he says it, but one of them says, well, maybe Locke was just here all along. Maybe I just... What do you think? I've been here all along trying to fool you or something like that?
Locke was standing off at the beach. I think Ben was having that conversation with Caesar, who is now dead. Introduced and then blown away.
Right. And when he said that, he goes, what do you think? I've been here all along? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm convinced he's the reincarnation of the smoke monster and the man in black and the black horse and the black... We've seen all these black boars and all this stuff that's been, chasing people. The smoke monster's never shown up
the new
at
Locke.
the same time as Locke.
Right.
The new Locke. The old Locke, I think, ended with Jeremy Bentham.
Strangled
but they've set the life and death of Jeremy Bentham. Yeah. So I think that... He's just the reincarnation.
Taken on Locke's form, you mean?
Not reincarnation, but like a shape changer.
The loophole.
Yes, to break the rules again, and get Jacob. The loophole. The loophole. To me, it seems painfully obvious at the loophole. So, but if that happens and Locke is dead, truly dead, our Locke, what has his character progression been worth?
Well, now you brought up Cabin Fever, that episode from season 4, or is it season 5? Or season... Okay, so yeah, 4. Cabin Fever. 4. That's the episode where the flashback sequences are Richard Alpert, Ricardus, going back in time and visiting Locke when he's born, when he was a young boy, drawing pictures of the smoke monster, and his foster home. And then again, I don't think Richard visits him, but we see Locke again in high school being teased and being advised, you're special, you shouldn't worry about sports and all that stuff. And at the time, Locke is... Well, the whole thing with... I think I'm getting a little off track. But the whole thing with Richard and Locke... what you were saying about Locke, why would they build this up? I don't think that they would build this up just to make him be a dead person now and he was just a tool. Right. They also wouldn't be putting out promo posters that have Locke sitting in the middle of a table as they recreate the Last Supper. I think that's their hits at us that...
There's another picture of Locke, of the whole cast, the entire cast of all 5 seasons, and Locke is in the middle with his back turned to everybody.
Yes, I
think there's so much symbolism on this show. I think the Locke we knew the past 4 seasons, I think, is dead. But I do think he will be resurrected. I think he's going to be a Christ-like figure, suffering. I think he's, in all religions, all the Joseph Campbell stuff, there's always the chosen one.
Right.
Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, Neo from The Matrix, hell, Dorothy, they were all the chosen one. They all had this journey they went on. And I'm convinced John Locke is this chosen one who's been through hell and back from the day he was born.
Right.
And I think Richard Alpert, who was one of the big players of this season, we're beginning to see that he doesn't age, and he's been around for 50, 60 years.
Well, there have been little scenes here and there where I think someone asked Juliet, how long has he been here? And she just kind of stone-faced goes, a really long time, or something.
Yes.
Or how old is he? Really old. Just
really old, yeah.
Which shows that she may or may not have been aware of what the details there were.
Yeah, and I wonder, does he know something about the Black Rock? Does he know something... it seems like he's been speaking on behalf of Jacob. Then there's the whole shadow of the statue thing we could get into. But we really should move on, Kurt, because we have a lot to talk about yet, and we don't have a lot of time. Anything else we want to talk about? The other corporations he's fronting.
Okay. Well, I still have all these questions regarding how divided the Dharma Initiative is from the Hostiles or the Others or whatever name they've had at any given time.
Right.
Since apparently Horace Goodspeed himself met up with Ben Linus's dad in Portland, Oregon, and that's where the Mittelos company Richard was allegedly working for when he was recruiting Juliet. That's located in Portland. Things seem to be going back to Portland here, and we also see Horace building the cabin for Jacob in a dream sequence, which may or may not be any indication of something real, or maybe it's just all symbolism. not to be taken at all literally. I just don't think things are as cleanly divided as us and them there.
Right. I think Dharma and the Hostiles.
There's got to be a
mind,
relation going back further in time, and I wonder if we'll see that. We may not.
Yeah, I don't know either. To me, it gets very complicated. You know, why is everything going on? And I mean, you and I are pretty astute viewers, and if we're getting them complicated, I'm going to wrap this up. I guess this technical problems. That's all for now. Sorry about the technical details. Hey, this was a start.
Well, you know what? Everything should end with a cliffhanger.
This is a cliffhanger. It's lost talk. We really have to talk about anything. Okay, real quick, last thing. What's the one big question?
Well, the one big question I have is in regards to Walt. And actually, I have a theory on what's going to happen with Walt at the very end of the series. And that theory is